I started dancing when I was 6 years old, going to a private school around the corner in my neighborhood in Athens, Greece. And I loved it right away. After the first time that we performed on stage, I came back home and I still remember that moment when I was like, Mom, that's what I want to be. I want to become a dancer. I graduated from the State School of Dance in Athens, and I received a scholarship from a Narcissus Foundation, and I came to New York. I went to the Merce Cunningham studio, but meanwhile, actually I think it was maybe my first week in New York, a friend of mine took me to a performance, and it was a Pascal RIOULT dance theater performance at Danny Kaye. The show was Harvest, which we're gonna do at the Joyce. I was Bean and Tadeo, and I just fell in love with the work. I loved the physicality, the musicality, the images, all the sensitivity, and I was like, okay, this is what I want. And in my mind, I was like, okay, let's give it a try. Let's see how I can get there. So I went to the audition. It was an open audition at Battery Dance. It was like very long because they had like 50 groups. I don't know how many groups. But I remember I was there for hours. And I went through the first cut. I went through the second cut. And then I think for the third cut, they didn't call my number. So I thought, that was it. That summer, one of the girls did not work out for him, so he held a private audition with 8 dancers. I believe that there were 8 of us. So I was along with Penelope, and at that point they didn't know me that well, but Penelope got the actual spot, and I was there as an understudy for the first 6 months. And then after that, somebody left, and I finally got in. So that was it. What's my favorite piece? Wow, okay. Well, Vin was my first love, and it still is one of my favorite pieces in the whole dance world. Because I think it basically sums up what life is. I find something in every piece, of course. I mean, that's why I'm still here. Because if I was not able to connect with, anything new, then I think I would be bored. And it's really interesting for me too, because Pascal involves every year so much. So I find something really great in every new piece. Like in the mask that we did last year, which was really crazy because he put it together so fast because we didn't have the time. So apart from all the distractions and all the anxiety, it was a great process. So that gets me to one part that I really love in that piece, which is the trio that I have with Robert and Jane. And that comes from a great experience in the process as well, because we were improvising attached to each other for I don't know how many hours. We didn't know our body could do it, just because Pascal had us like with that conceptual idea attached from one body part, and we couldn't, it was a struggle of not being able to go away, and like also the way that we could find ways to move within that. Very frustrating because at some point I was crying because he wanted us like to improvise, but at the same time we had to remember. So it was like a struggle to try to do both. But anyway, so it ended up being like a part of and a moment on stage that I really love. And another moment that I really love is my duet with Michael in Fleeting World. Because we have a great connection with him, and we've been dancing with him. I've been dancing with him. I've been partnering with him a lot of times, and in Lenos too. Yeah, and if by chance I partnered with him, so we have that like special connection by now. And of course, I love Lenox. Lenox is like, it's a gorgeous piece, I think. It's harder for people to get it. Sometimes they come, they don't really know what Lenox means. And I know that when I explain, some people ask me and I explain to them, they're like, oh yeah, it makes sense. When I got married, like I had moments, because we did Lenox before I got married. Like I had moments of the peace I felt in my ceremony. What's the hardest thing of being a dancer? Mm-hmm. Keep learning. That's the hardest part, but that's also the part that I really like, because I don't feel like you can reach anywhere. Like there is no point where you can stop. Like you can always find something deeper in you. You can always do something better. You can always have a moment in time that's better than the moment in time that you had before in that piece. So that always like energizes you and keeps you being alive. If it hadn't been for Pascal and Joyce, ooh. Okay. God. God. Okay. Now they're looking at me and crying. Okay, let me read the question. And I put mascara on too for the interview. Okay. Hold on, Penelope. Alright, good. Whew. Check it out. No, I just wanted to say that definitely Pascal and Joyce had made me the dancer that I am. And I'm really grateful for the career that I had. I mean, I know that I worked for it really hard, but it's definitely their vision and their work ethic that had taught me almost everything I know.